Hello and welcome back to another fantasy football video. Hope you guys are all doing well. It is a quick turnaround to this double game week 19. Today I'm going to be taking a quick look at how the team does line up. We've got a few dilemmas in the team as well, kind of who to play, who not to play, and then also considering a couple of transfers as well. If you're new around here, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. It really does help me out. Hit the like button if you're enjoying the content, and well, without further ado, let's get straight on into this one. So I guess first things first, how are we currently doing? Now I am filming this prior to game week 18, so currently the overall rank is sitting at 1.4 million. Got a nice 250k rank increase after game week 17. Now I did make a couple of mistakes in that game, which we will come on to. The team value not looking too great at the minute, 100.6 million, and then it's 0.8 million in the bank, sitting at 934 points. I do have 2 free transfers in the bank, so I will be going on to discuss the potential of what we can do with those. The defense, as you can see there, I've got Kepa, Cancelo, Trippier and Shaw. I'm happy with Kepa, Trippier and Shaw for the time being. Cancelo, probably one of the ones that is on the chopping block for this coming game week, especially after seeing that he was benched against Leeds. It'll be interesting to see whether he does start against Everton. Now, I still do think that Pep does trust him as his kind of best fullback in the team, whether that is playing left back or right back, and the fixtures that Manchester City have coming up are playing against much tougher opposition. So I would expect him to start in this Chelsea game, and after the Chelsea game they play against Manchester United and Spurs. 2 tougher fixtures that you would argue that Pep would probably try and play his best team, and Cancelo is one of the players that is a part of that best team for Pep. So I think that actually holding on to him, at least for the time being, could be quite beneficial. I feel like after game week 20, after that double game week for Manchester City, Cancelo will be on the way out for me. But for now, I think hold Cancelo for this single game week against Chelsea. Now I am actually thinking of captaining Kepa. I feel like his baseline potential for this game week are pretty good. I'm expecting him to get at least a save point in each game, which means I'm effectively expecting him to get 3 points in this game, which means he'll get 6 points across the 2 game weeks, which, you know, I would take as a baseline. Trippier, I feel like you have to play week in, week out now. No matter what fixture, he can pick up attacking returns, he can pick up clean sheets, he can pick up bonus points, so on and so on. Just a solid option. Luke Shaw, single game week against Bournemouth, picking up bonus points. Man United picking up clean sheets as well. I feel like it's a solid option to have. Why not play him for this single game week against Bournemouth at home, but a Bournemouth side that have been struggling to score goals. Then taking a look at the midfield, I feel like it's a decent midfield. We have a few kind of tough fixtures in there, with Almiron playing away against Arsenal and then De Bruyne playing away to Chelsea. With Almiron, he is on such good form that you do just kind of have to play him week in, week out. It's weird with Almiron because of his price. You almost feel like you can bench him because he's only kind of 5 to 6 million. So you feel like you almost want to bench him more than you want to bench the likes of Martinelli or Rashford or even De Bruyne. But he's just been playing so well that I just feel like you cannot bench him at the minute. Hopefully De Bruyne can turn a little bit of a corner in this Everton and in this Chelsea game. It is a bit of a matchup between De Bruyne and Salah currently at the minute is coming out way on top of De Bruyne. Martinelli playing at home to Newcastle. There is a little bit of conflict there between Trippier and Martinelli, as both players won't be able to really pick up points unless Trippier gets an attacking return as well as Martinelli. But I think either way, I'm going to be playing both of them just because of the potential that both of them do have. I'm quite looking forward to this Manchester United game. You can see that I've got 2 of their key assets there, Shaw and Rashford, and hopefully Shaw will now be playing in that left back position, combining with Rashford and absolutely bombing down that left hand side. And to fill us out, we have Andreas of Fulham with the double game week against Leicester and Chelsea. I'm pretty happy to own him. He's given me a nice little buffer because I am thinking of transferring him out, but because of this double game week, I'm obviously not going to move him out until game week 20 because he does look good for this game week and he's getting extremely far forward as well, further forward than Mitrovic, even so he could easily go and get some attacking returns in this game, especially with the fact that if Mitrovic does get a yellow card, we've seen that Andreas will actually be on penalties, and he just offers such good value at 4.6 million. But going forward, I think he is another one of the players that is on the chopping block for me, because I do quite like the midfield heavy formation, so I'm looking towards the likes of maybe an Odegaard or a Trossard. Then rounding us off in the attack, we have the two main men up front, Haaland and Kane. Haaland playing against Chelsea, but it's Haaland. He can do anything in any game. And then Kane playing against a Palace side that have really struggled to come back from the international break, and Kane also does just have a good record against Crystal Palace in general. So who are we going to captain? I briefly mentioned Kepa as a good option. I think I am going to go with Kepa. I think the vice-captain will probably end up going on Haaland. I may then switch to Haaland just because in any given game week, he can easily just go and grab a goal or grab a brace, as we saw against Leeds. Chelsea are a bit of a tougher opposition, especially away from home for Manchester City, so I could see them struggling to break them down. I feel like Potter will probably end up going for a 5 at the back formation in that game and try and just grind it out for as long as the game as possible, and then potentially nick it, which is why I'm kind of favouring Kepa. And I just feel like, you know, the ceiling for Kepa in this game week is a bit higher than the likes of Haaland. An outside shout would be Andreas, but just by sheer fact of owning him and just allowing him to play there on that 5th midfielder spot, I feel like is an absolutely fine option to have. And then finally we come to our bench. We have Danny Ward, White, Chalobah and Archer. As you can see here, I've got a little bit of a dilemma in terms of, you know, who to play and who to bench. Ben White playing at home to Newcastle, you could argue that he could maybe play instead of Trippier or instead of Almiron, but just with how well Trippier and Almiron have been playing, I feel like a lot of people will be starting those guys over the likes of Ben White. The tough one is Chalobah. He does have the double game week, but I don't really think that I expect him to start in both of those games, and I don't actually think that Chelsea's potential of a clean sheet is actually that great in the double game week. I don't really expect them to keep a clean sheet against City, and then away to Fulham, a Fulham side that have been scoring quite a few goals this season. I feel like it could be tough there for them as well, especially with the fact that, as I mentioned, I don't really know if Chalobah will start, and if I'm captaining Kepa, that means I'm effectively putting faith in 3 Chelsea defenders to be keeping a clean sheet, and that's kind of overdoing it for me. So I'm basically going off the fact that, you know, if Chalobah plays in one of those single game weeks, whether it's against Fulham or whether it's against Manchester City, I think that Shaw, Trippier and Cancelo in one-off game weeks will end up scoring more points. So this has been a quick little look at how the team kind of lines up ahead of game week 19. Now, do let me know in the comments the players that you are thinking of bringing in. Potential transfers for me this game week, I feel like the most likely thing I'm going to do realistically is take Chalobah out and probably put Patterson in. I am tempted to go for, say, Cancelo and bring in Thiago Silva, but as I say, I don't actually really necessarily expect that Chelsea are going to keep clean sheets in both games, so that could be a little bit of a waste of a transfer when I can free up a little bit of value by moving Chalobah down to Patterson. I then have the dilemma of, you know, who do I take out? Then do I take out Luke Shaw? Do I take out White, or do I take out Cancelo in order to be able to fund a move to the likes of Odegaard or Trossard? But if I transfer Chalobah to Patterson, then at least that kind of delays it by 1 week. There is a likelihood coming up that other teams, the likes of Brighton, even Liverpool, even Arsenal may get another double game week. So we just have to wait and see what happens there. But if you have enjoyed this video, please don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you're new around here. Comment down below the players that you're thinking of bringing in for this coming game week and how your teams line up ahead of this double game week 19. And I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.